drama queen, and welcome to the drama castle. Overheard them mention hater, not a pretty word like moist or moisture. Wanna quit, but you know I'm a soldier. Try to get me out, you know it's game over. Say it's toxic, chaotic, unhealthy. Always play my cards right, don't test me. I'm not here to play nice, no I can't be. And if you're trying to stop me, that's a guarantee. Too many people try to get me out, and it worked for a second, but I'm back now, better than ever. Welcome to the drama castle. I am your drama queen, and welcome to the drama castle. You try to stop me, but you can't. Too many people try to stop me, but you can't. You can't. I am your drama queen.
I had one job. All right. Hello, everybody. So, man, how y'all doing? I know it's a little earlier than usual. So, yesterday I did a stream. I guess we can count this as part 2, obviously. Because after yesterday's stream, I had been reached out by a couple people who weren't too happy with the stream. And I want to start off by saying I do stand by the things I said yesterday. However, I do have to acknowledge that some people felt attacked by my words. And I want to make it as crystal clear as possible when it comes to talking about people who enable. We'll get into it because I guess I feel I should first start off by saying hello to the chat. Hello, people in the chat. How are you guys doing? Yesterday, we talked about some rumors that have been circulating in the Power Ranger fandom, Power Ranger community. Behind the scenes, some of these rumors are pretty bad. They're involving minors, as well as other bad behaviors that have been going unchecked. And I had made some comments in regards to, the fact that people who don't speak out, they are enabling it. They are protecting predators, right? And now I understand why people feel like that is an attack, or they feel like, like nobody wants to be told you're protecting a predator, right? Because that is not technically what they're trying to do. That's not the intention, right? Like, obviously, it's not black and white when it comes to these topics, guys. It's not black and white where it's like, well, why don't you just say something? Because I've talked about this before. Like, there are reasons why people don't speak out against their abusers or things like that, okay? It's not just black and white. There is a lot of gray areas that are in effect. And I do acknowledge that and understand that. But, and yes, there's a but, it still is a trade-off, okay? You are protecting someone, sure, but the trade-off is you're also protecting the perpetrator, right? And I know that sounds awful because it is awful. Nobody wants to say that they're protecting a perpetrator. I understand that. And no, I don't think people are intentionally protecting a perpetrator. I don't think they're intentionally enabling it. But if there's one thing I have learned in life, and one thing that we should have learned from watching all of the messed up things that have been going on in the industry for a long time, when people don't say anything, it doesn't stop the person from continuing to do it. When you don't say anything, these people think they're untouchable. There's no consequences because no one is saying anything. And that's what I really meant when I said that, there are people, and there are some people who are 100% are enabling, like without a questionable doubt. There are people who know the things that actor Christopher Kamen Lee has done to people, and they don't care. They don't care. And I know this for a fact because I have told people what Christopher Kamen Lee has done to myself and to others, and they don't care. Now, I'm not talking about people who know about this new rumor that happened between Christopher Kamen Lee and a 16-year-old, okay? I'm not saying that those people are enablers. I'm not saying that those people are guilty. But I understand why some people took that as me coming at them. It did come off as that, and I apologize. I'm very passionate. And somebody made a great point, is that, like, you can't sit there and call people enablers and say they're protecting predators and then at the same time expect them to come forward. That's not how it works, and you're right. If I'm not willing to come forward and explain things and I'm keeping secrets, why should I expect other people to do the same? So here's why I want people to understand why I'm very passionate about this topic and why I'm trying to bring to light and why I am encouraging people to speak out. I should have done this yesterday, but I was so driven by anger with this whole situation, not just about actor Christopher Kamen Lee, not just about a few people in the Power Ranger community, as a whole, this whole situation, because it keeps happening. But let me explain to you my experience and why I feel the way I feel. And I just want to say, full disclosure, disclaimer here, whatever, right? I don't want people to have me talk about this situation that happened with me and think that I'm trying to get sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I've come to terms with what happened to me. I've come to peace with it. But I want y'all to understand why, when it comes to these topics, when it comes to people and kids and stuff like that, why I'm so passionate about it, okay? Just want to put that out there. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not trying to trauma dump on nobody. But if I want people to be out, to come forward and speak about it, I need to tell y'all why I feel like it's the best thing to do. So some of y'all might have heard me talk about it a little bit, but I am a victim of child abuse. Okay. And I don't want to get too deep into it because, again, not really trying to open up the wounds. Like, I'm not going to give y'all details because it's disgusting details and I don't even want to relive that. But I am a victim of child abuse. My abuser was somebody who lived in my neighborhood growing up and became friends with my family. He was an older man, seemed harmless, okay? Now, when what happened to me, okay, everybody in the neighborhood knew about this man because guess what? I was not the first one that man did that to. As far as I knew, I was the second child that this man did this to. And the neighborhood knew about it because they heard rumors about it. They heard, well, he had heard he did this to this person's kid. Now, that would have been some information that my family should have been privy to if they were going to have me around this man, right? But because nobody in the neighborhood saw fit to say anything when they had heard he did it to somebody else's kid, maybe that information would have prevented what happened to me to happen. Okay? That's why when I say sometimes y'all being silent is not really protecting, like it might protect somebody else's kid, but what about the next kid? What about me? Because I feel like the previous parents didn't say anything to protect their kids, right? Sure, we could say that. I don't know, right? But like, what about the next kid? What about me? you know? So that's why I said what I said and why I feel how I feel. Because again, I'm not understanding how people feel and why they try to protect certain people when it comes to these situations. But at the same time, it doesn't stop the person from doing this again and again. And when they keep doing it without consequences or accountability, taking any accountability, like that's what I'm saying. You know? So that's why I said what I said, is because I know from experience that when you don't speak out and say anything, that could potentially lead to somebody else getting hurt. And I don't want that on my conscience, So that's why I said it the way I did. I do understand that some people felt like I was attacking you. If you felt that way, from the bottom of my heart, I do apologize. I do apologize for that. But at least understand where I'm coming from. Understand where I'm coming from. Because I had wished that somebody would have let my family know about that guy so that what happened to me didn't happen. Again, I'm grown. I'm past it. I've overcome it. Talking about it now, it kind of sucks because it's like, damn, that did happen. But I've moved past the trauma there, but it's still something that does trigger me because it's like, I know from experience, guys. I'm not just mad and upset about this. This is not like a personal vendetta against just Christopher Kamen Lee. It's the collective. This keeps happening to fucking kids. It keeps happening to people in general. Like these people who have notoriety, they have a little bit of fandom. They have a following. They're using this to do bad things to people. They're using this to prey on people. And that's not okay. And I know that there's so many people who agree, but it's like, okay, but what are we going to do to stop it? Now, I understand people saying, well, there are some people in positions of power. That's a reason. I hear you. I'm not asking anyone to put their life on the line to expose somebody. If you guys feel like it's not worth the fight, it's not worth the hassle, I respect that. I'm a fighter. Always have been, always will be. I'm not afraid of somebody with some money. See, the thing that I always say is when you don't have much to lose, you are way more of a threat than somebody who has everything to lose. Because they always say the most dangerous people are people who have things to lose. I think the most dangerous people are people who have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. I say all the time, the only thing I really, really have in life is just that, my life. If somebody wants to come take it for me doing the right thing, come take it. Come take it. I will make it easy for you, but come take it. I just want to do the right thing. That's all. I want to do the right thing. And I think more people should want to do the right thing. But I understand if the right thing to do is hard and it comes with consequences. Because that's the biggest issue with these stories, guys, is doing the right thing has consequences. I don't know why doing the right thing has consequences, but for some reason it does. And people are afraid of those consequences, which prevents people from doing the right thing. you know? Now, as far as what's next, well, I know that the stream yesterday got some attention. I know that there are now more whispers in the wind. And that's it. All I could do is give my thoughts, speak on what's going on, what I've heard. Obviously, I still, want to honor and protect people who aren't wanting to come forward because these are their stories to tell. I've done this with the Andy Signore situation. I can't just take it upon myself to name drop. I could and not give a shit, but what would that prove? What would that prove? I don't want people to not to feel like they have to come forward. I just feel like I would rather the story be out there as a rumor, if anything. That way people are a little bit more cautious, Like, hey, I heard this is going on. Just be careful. There's a predator at my university. He has been harassing my female students, and I reported him. He was suspended, but was brought back. It infuriates me. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, people always take my like anger, like my passion, because it's anger and passion. It is infuriating because like I get to a point where I feel so helpless. Like I always say, if you see something, say something. I see something, I say something, and it seems like it doesn't matter. I've called Christopher Kamen Lee out a long time ago. He was the first person in the Power Ranger community that I saw and was like, yikes, that's crazy. This man is not a good person. And when I first called him out, a lot of people dismissed me. A lot of people said it was no big deal. Cool. They found out. They found out, and it sucks because I just get so angry. I feel so helpless, man. Like, there's so many people who don't deserve to be treated like shit by somebody who at the end of the day deserves to be treated like shit. Okay? Like, I feel like I can't do anything, and that makes me upset because, like, technically speaking, I really can't. I really can't, because this is what happened to me and certain people that I've already talked about and had on the channel. Like, that's small fries compared to the shit that he and other people have done to other people. Like, this goes up to like convention runners, guys. This goes up to like con runners that got like fuck you money, and it's like, I want to know what we can do to like expose this, because if these things are true, it needs to come out. We are putting money in pockets of sickos to contribute to their depravity. To their, disgusting desires. We are financing that without even realizing we're financing that. So that's why I'm kind of just like, I feel bad that people thought, I mean, I won't even say thought. It definitely came off as like an attack. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I can understand why people hearing me say, you guys are enabling predators, you're protecting predators. Yeah, that comes off bad. But I mean, again, realistically speaking, it's the trade-off. It's the trade-off. To protect one, you're protecting the other. Unfortunately. And it makes me very upset that is what the harsh truth is, because it is a harsh truth. And I just don't know what else to do about it, I guess, except for talk about it, give you my opinion, and make sure that, people know that that's what's being said around the network, and just be safe at these events. Be safe at these events. I know the Wild Force Ranger did time for murdering his roommate, and I thought that was the darkest thing I ever. But so here's the thing about that, okay? I don't think that he intended to murder. Okay, I don't think that he intended to murder, because I think that somebody who really wanted to kill somebody and get away with it would have ran. Would have ran. He didn't run. He called the police immediately on himself to get somebody out to try to save the guy's life. From what the reports said, I don't think that he should be spending life in prison for that. I don't think he intended on his roommate dying, to be honest with you. I think that he just made a bad choice in grabbing a weapon that could potentially have been fatal, which it was, to stop somebody from getting into a fight with you. But I don't think that he meant to actually take a life. And I don't think that he should spend his life behind bars for something that he didn't mean to actually do. I think he got out but went back in. I don't know. But yeah, that situation was pretty bad, but that was nothing compared to the stuff that I've been hearing that's been going on in this community. Like I said, this goes up to the convention showrunners, and that's even more scary because they're the ones hosting the Diddy parties, basically. That's the best way to say it, is they're the ones that are hosting the Diddy parties. We're not even talking about the guest list. We just talk about the ones that are hosting the Diddy parties at this point. And that's where, for me, it's the only way it stops is if people who are willing to speak out, and you can, because there's the strength in numbers when it comes to that. The more people who are yeah, this happened, I'm sure that there's proof out there, because when people get away with this stuff for a long time, they get sloppy, and they don't care anymore. They're well, I can have conversations in text, and if somebody shares them, no one's going to believe them, because nobody's going to be ballsy enough to talk about it, because I got money to shut you up type shit, So I think that there's got to be some kind of tangible evidence that exists 100%. But also, the more people that speak out and say, yeah, this, this happened to my friend, this happened to my kid, this happened to me. The more people that speak out, the more questions people are going to have and demand answers from these people. Is it true? Are these allegations true? See, the thing with me is I'm a fighter, so I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of Christopher Kamen Lee. I'm not afraid of any of these convention showrunners. I have no intention of ever going to your conventions anyways. So I don't really care if you put me on a block list, because I just probably wouldn't go there anyways. But what are they going to do to me? I guess the thing is, it's not about me. It's more what are they going to do to these people that speak out? Because if these people aren't speaking out, right, there's a reason why. And that's the problem, is that there's probably a reason enough for these people to not speak out. Because I just don't understand, I guess, what could be reason enough for you to not speak out against a predator, unless that predator has some kind of leverage over you. And it sucks that most predators do hold all the cards. They always hold all the cards, and that's also kind of sickening. that the predators are always the ones that have the fucking power in these situations. And that's why they keep getting away with it, because they hold the cards. And I just am sitting here like, that's just troubling. Absolutely troubling. So they're going to ban you from convention. I don't care. I haven't gone to a convention in a long time anyways. They can ban me. I have like, oh my God. Oh no, I can't go to a convention that is hosted by a predator. Oh no. Because I totally wanted to go to that one convention where the friggin' showrunner apparently did some shit to some minors. Yeah, let me tell you, I want to totally give that piece of shit my money. like I'm not gonna lie. I think Henry should count his blessings that he is not allowed to go to some of these conventions. I'm just saying. Let them ban me. It'd be fantastic. Have you heard of Gary? What is it? Plushé? He had a solution. What up, Peyton Nate? How are you? I agree, Ray, because I was trying to talk about it myself. I was too overwhelming. 10 shifter says 13. Yep. You know what's crazy? Speak of which, while I was talking to people about this situation and you know how to friggin' navigate, I guess like. Did you know that another Power Ranger actor had allegations against him? Apparently, Henry Resilient covered it a while ago, but he must have covered it before I came into the picture, because apparently there are numerous allegations. Michael Coupon, who is he played the Time Force Blue Ranger, Power Rangers Time Force Blue Ranger. Apparently, he had allegations of sexual harassment against numerous young ladies, and one as young as the age of 11 years old, allegedly. And I'm sitting here like, bro, how do you walk away from allegations like that? Because he still does conventions, does he not? And I'm sitting here like, how do you walk away from allegations as young as 11 years old, my guy? How? No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious, bro. I have I should have put it on screen, but I have the post here from a young lady. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Did I not save it? Oh no. Hold on. I put it on Discord. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This post from official Janina. I won't quit. My account was hacked in efforts to delete this post. The Instagram team did an amazing job recovering it for me. God has my back, and I won't stop until I see justice. I was only 11 years old when Michael Coupon molested me. He brought me into his music studio in California and had me thinking he was going to help me. Instead, he took advantage of me. The abuse lasted years. At the time, I was afraid to tell my mom because she was going through a lot. Now that I'm older, I finally found the strength to tell her. There is an open investigation, but I'm frustrated at the pace where they're moving. I hope all of my supporters have words for him. Michael, you took my innocence from me, and it was wrong. My circle is tighter, and I'm so much stronger. If any of you feel you're alone out there with a dark secret, you're not alone. I'm here for you. Hopefully my story will help other young girls and boys. Every child deserves to save themselves from someone special, for somebody special. No child deserves nightmares. I finally found my voice, and I will be your and I'll be yours. Hashtag speak up. I'm sitting here. This was in 2015. How did this get swept under the rug? Does anyone know the outcome of that situation? Because I'm sitting here like that was in 2015. Michael Capone is still going to conventions. So, like, how did he get away from that situation when it involved 11-year-old? I feel like I have to go back and dig that back up because I just want to know how that got away from the Power Ranger community. Pedos run Holly weird. Yep. Yeah. Cause like I'm trying to see how that got swept under the rug. Because she said there was an investigation, it was going slow, so clearly there was no fun. Maybe he has some people behind him protecting him. I'm just sitting here like dumbfounded. Because like I understand that we do live in a day and age where there are people who do lie about these things 100%. Like I said yesterday, the main reason why I do believe some sussery went down with Christopher Kamen Lee is because I know him. And I know the kind of guy he is when it comes to women, especially. So it doesn't fully surprise me if that is the case. Like, I'm not 100% surprised. Disgusted, but not very surprised. Because, yeah, that dude got some problems when it comes to females. Like bad problems when it comes to women. These things happen to the doctors, rarely proof. Yeah, that's the thing too, is like, unfortunately, because so many people abuse that fact, right? Because like it used to be, well, believe all women. Well, we can't believe all women now because some women be lying, right? But that's also the thing, is like, how do you prove physical interaction? Like, nobody goes into a room with somebody expecting shit to go south. Like, no one's like, man, I should have a body cam on when I go into this room with this guy, just in case he decides to pressure me into something I don't want to do. Like, no one goes into these things with that mentality. And it makes it so much harder to prove when that shit happens. And I tell people this all the time, like, how the fuck do you prove a physical interaction happened between two people when, like, it was just between two people? No one had a recorder on. Like, how do you prove that? How do you prove it? That's a sad thing. My whole thing is like, well, number one, pattern of behavior definitely comes into play, definitely helps kind of put the story together. You know? So if somebody has a pattern of behavior of kind of like suspicious, you know, interactions with women or kids, you know, it's kind of safe to say like the pattern of behavior is a big factor. But people like to ignore that. And then also, like, I mean, how did they respond? I always look at the person's responses. So, for example, when Andy Signore was exposed for, you know, having relationships with his moderators, consensual or non-consensual, but when that was exposed, his reaction told you he was guilty. He was guilty of something because he was embarrassed. He was very much embarrassed, not because the fucking video of, you know, an intimate moment he sent to a woman leaked, right? He was embarrassed because it came out that he was having relationships with other women that weren't his partner. And he had to kind of answer to somebody about that, you know? So it's one of those things where you got to look at the person's reaction when this shit comes out to see if, you know, because if they're guilty, they have tells. People like unintentionally confess the crimes all the time. But that's the best way I tell people to look for it. Like, look at the signs. Look at the pattern of behavior. If a Power Ranger actor has a really shitty reputation in the community, they're not getting booked at a lot of conventions because the convention runners don't want them there. There's a reason. And I wish people would actually look at that and say that's a problem. That is a problem. If you're a booking agent and you're having a hard time booking Christopher Kamen Lee for a lot of conventions, that's a problem. That's a problem. And the thing that's funny is I know that there's a few conventions he got in because the con runners were just a fan of the show. They didn't even give a fuck about Chris as a person. That's what happened at AFO. Anime Festival Orlando. When I first met Christopher Kamen Lee, the convention runner there, he only really invited him because he was a fan of the show. That's it. He was a fan. Any good showrunner at an anime convention will literally tell you Power Ranger actors, unless they're the original 5, nobody gives a shit. No one gives a shit about them. Especially if they're like Johnny Young Bosch, Jason Font. They do really good at Comic-Cons and anime conventions because of their voice acting work. Johnny has done so many animes, and it just happens that he's also Power Ranger, so you get the trifecta. You get the trifecta there, and he does music, so you get the trifecta. Jason Font has done a lot of voice acting work too, so he does pretty good. But as far as Power Rangers, like if you're not the original friggin' 5, if you're not the OG, if you're not the OGs, like you're not gonna do well at anime conventions. Chris found out the hard way. He was so mad. And I told him the anime convention is not for Power Rangers, bro. It's not for Power Rangers. Anime fans do not care about Power Rangers like we care about Power Rangers. Like, I don't think people understand that, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. He does do a lot of anime. He sure does. Johnny Young Bosch is great. Also, I guess I forgot. I have to apologize. I have to apologize again. So, I just want to throw this out there. Okay? I don't hate the Power Ranger Wild Force actors. I think the actors as people, from what I have been told, I have not heard anything negative about these actors from Power Rangers Wild Force, with the exception of the Red Ranger who did commit murder, But the rest of the Power Ranger Wild Force actors are decent people. I'm sorry. The acting, and I don't even blame the actors for the acting. I blame the direction, and the story was trash. Y'all got a shitty season story. Merrick was the only good thing about Wild Force that I remember. Okay? Merrick was the only good cat. Like, Merrick to Wild Force was like the saving grace. Okay? That storyline was the only one that actually mattered, god damn it. But I do feel bad because, like, I do feel bad. Because, like, somebody's just like, damn, you really went in on the Wild Force, the Wild Force actors. And I'm like, the acting was bad. I'm sorry. And I don't blame them for the acting being bad. They had shitty direction. That's not their fault. That's Hans Saban's fault, okay? But I've heard nothing but good things about the people. So, I'm just saying. No one needs to see them act. I mean, and again, in fairness, I did say yesterday that even though the acting in Wild Force was bad, the actor who played the Red Ranger, who played Cole, he came back and played another character and seasons later, and he did so much better. And it's because that they had better direction back then. And I think that was Disney. Disney had much better directors after that. So Megaforce shit too. I'm just saying, guys. I felt bad because I wasn't trying to attack nobody except for the friggin' people that deserve to be attacked. All right, god damn it, I wasn't trying to attack nobody. But somebody asked me what my favorite season was, and I was like, well, these are my favorite seasons. The last one I watched, and I had to let them know, like, my least favorite was Wild Force. I'm sorry. Like I said, Merrick was the only one. And by the way, can we talk about the actor who plays Merrick? I haven't really seen, I hadn't seen him in a long time, to be quite honest with you. And recently I seen, he's doing conventions and stuff. He still looks pretty goddamn good. He still looks pretty goddamn good for his age. I'm happy for him. He still looks damn good. I know that back in the day, there was a couple Power Rangers that a lot of us girls especially had the hots for, First one was obviously, Tommy Oliver, and then of course, Andros, even though fuck Christopher Cayman Lee, but can't deny back in his prime he was a fucking smoke show. Yeah, there was Andros, and then well, before I think it was like, yeah, you know, Andros, and then then we had Merrick. Merrick was a hot throb too. Then we had what was the Red Ranger from not Time Force? What was before Time Force? Shit, what was the other one? What the rescue one? What the hell was that season? What season was that? The wow, why can't I remember it? I always forget it. It's like, damn it. I'm trying to think of the one where they were rescued. Like, yes, there we go. Lightspeed Rescue. Thank you. No, it was Lightspeed Rescue. I couldn't think of it. Yes, Lightspeed Rescue. The Red Ranger from Lightspeed Rescue was probably like the hottest there. Time Force, obviously Jason Font and Dan Southworth. Let me tell you, I don't know what it was. I'm sorry. Like I loved Jason Font. Don't get me wrong, but it was Dan for me, bruh. It was Dan for me. Dan was it for me. I think it was just because he was like the bad boy. He was a bad boy. Thinking about Dan, yeah, 100%. Dan Southworth, yeah. When I was a kid, damn it. When I was younger, I had the biggest crush on him. I'm telling TTS. No, not now. No, not now. I'm pretty sure that, first of all, I have TTS and all of those actors are, I think Jason Font has somebody, seems happy there. I think Dan, I think Dan's married. Dan is married, I think. I don't know. I can't keep up with all their relationship shit. I'm not TMZ for Power Rangers, damn it. Dan Southworth did a lot of stunts most on the season. Oh, yeah, he's funny. I remember back in, can we get a tier list? Maybe I'll do a tier list sometime about Power Rangers. The hot guys of Power Rangers. I remember the one nice thing Chris did do for me is on my birthday, I had asked him to have the Power Ranger actors who were there wish me a happy birthday. And he did. He actually got all the Power Rangers to come into a very dark fucking hallway at the convention to sing happy birthday to me. And then he asked me specifically if I had anyone specific that I wanted to like do a special video for me. And I said Dan Southworth, and I think he also got Vernon to do a happy birthday for me. And they butchered my name. Both of them butchered my name. They both butchered my name when they tried to say happy birthday to me. And then I think Dan was like talking shit. I don't know if they were like had any idea like what was going on. I feel like Chris did not give them any real direction, but I think like Dan made a snide comment, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like they had no idea what Chris even asked them to do. But yeah. It's that hard to say your name? No, not my real name. They use my online name. My name was not Saggy Melons back then. My name back in those days was Ray Bear, and that's what for some reason they couldn't say Ray Bear. It was funny. They were like Ray Bear, Ray Bay. It was funny. I was like, bruh, how can you not say bear, bruh? How can y'all not say bear? I'm just saying. Didn't Red SPD and Yellow Dino Thunder Yellow have a thing, or am I misremembering? I do not know, to be honest with you. Is it true that Dan Southward auditioned for Mighty Morphin when Austin Walter and True Left? I'm not sure if it's true, but I wouldn't be surprised because Chris auditioned for Power Rangers in Space, even though he didn't want like he didn't want the role. So he might have auditioned for Mighty Morphin around that time and just didn't get it, but that's probably why they called him back for Power Rangers Time Force. You know? So yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a common thing to just audition for everything, because even if they don't like you for that specific part, doesn't mean they might not call you back for something else. So it is possible, but I don't know for a fact. Merrick look hella different. Merrick does not look hella different. He does not look that different. He just looks a little older, but he aged very well. So, like, don't say that he looks hella different. Chris looks hella different. Chris definitely looks hella different. Like, you look at pictures of him when he was in his 20s, and you look at pictures of him now, and you're just like, yeah. Like, Dan Southworth, Jason Font, they all, like, they're recognizable, right? You wouldn't pick out Chris and say, oh, you're that dude that was on Power Rangers and Space Bro. There ain't no way. Like, you would definitely mistake him for a regular dude. Okay? Like, Merrick, he's got unique features where it's like, if you were a fan of Wild Force, you would be able to see him right away. You know? I should ban you right now, TJ. Yep, Red and the El Dino Thunder auditioned for Ninja Storm, but got the parts in the next season. Yep, that's how it goes. Christopher Kamen Lee, you would not recognize with his beer belly. Yeah, he's got a dad bod, bro. He's definitely got the dad bod going on. It's the beer. It's definitely the beer. It's definitely the beer. It's definitely the beard. All that alcohol in his belly. Is Chris' hair all gone now? No, his hair's not gone. He didn't really care for the long hair. At least dyeing it. He didn't like the dyeing of the hair. But he does keep his hair shorter now. He did have it long for a while, in his 30s, close to 40, but he started cutting it. Yeah. He prefers having it like a mohawk, actually. If anything, he likes to have his hair in a mohawk. That's his hair of choice. Justin Nemo, when I first saw him, he looked like a dad. He had dad bod too. But I don't know, ever since he, separated from his previous wife, got a new beautiful wife, and he's been more focused on his health and stuff, he is looking just as good as he did back in his prime. Like he definitely aged like fine wine. Justin Nemo looking very good. Tracy Lynn Cruz aged like wine. Yes, she also looked good. Selling is black. Oh my gosh. Yes, and we all know black don't crack unless you smoke it. We've talked about this. What about the Pink Ranger? I mean, a lot of the actors pretty much held up. They still look pretty good. The Wild Force actors all look phenomenal. So since some people were upset that I was saying some bad things about their acting, at least I can glaze them and say they still look really damn good for their age. They look fantastic. They definitely do. I ain't gonna take that away from them. They look damn good. I saw them and I'm like, damn, y'all still look very well preserved. Oh man. Johnny Young Bosch is still adorable. Yes, Johnny Young Bosch is very adorable. Like I said, a lot of these actors, from what I do know, based on what other people have told me, are pretty legit. They're decent people. I will say this: I had heard that a couple of actors, a couple of the actors were shown the video that me and my friend Blake did when we talked about Chris, and I know that some of them were like, shocked and appalled. So I appreciate that. It's just, I feel like more people need to check him. And like I said, I'm not trying to cancel Christopher Kamen Lee. I don't want him canceled. I want him to be better. I want him to do better. I want him to see that he has a problem and he needs to get help for the problem because he's not getting help. He's not getting the help. And I know this because it's still happening. I've always wanted him to get help. I've always knew that he had a little bit of an alcohol problem. I didn't know how bad it was, but it did around my time start seeming like it was pretty bad. I just want him to get help. And the only way he's going to get help is if he eventually comes to terms and acknowledge that he's doing bad things and he is hurting people. And he's not going to get that way by some of the people who are enabling him. And I will drop names. Nerdbot, the YouTube channel Nerdbot, the guys who run that channel over there. I know one of the actors there, Colin, the other guy there. I forget his name. I don't know why I forget his name. I think it's like DJ Rivers or whatever. They definitely enable his behavior. They enable his bad behavior because he's working with them to work on projects. And they know 100% that he is a piece of shit. You know why? Because we have been telling y'all that he is a piece of shit. And y'all know the kind of person he is. Can't sit there and tell me that there is not a single moment that any of the things I've said about Christopher Kamen Lee y'all haven't seen for yourselves. I know for a fact you guys know that he's kind of a dickhead. And y'all enable it because you don't check him. You don't check him. You know how I know you don't check him? Because he's still doing it. Y'all are the ones giving him the notoriety that he wouldn't have if it wasn't for y'all. And yet you just let him do the shit he does, say the shit he says to people, treat people like shit, use people, abuse women. Like, okay, cool. Nah, I can't do the Glizzy Goblin thing. I'm actually trying to get people to watch this, Shay. I'm trying to get people to actually watch this. So, hold on. Sierra Hannah's Bay. Yeah. She is. I just wish that, I don't know what I gotta do, guys. I guess I gotta keep speaking out until somebody tries to tell me to shut up, I guess. Until somebody tries to tell me to shut up. I mean, I'm small. I'm a small blimp on the radar. If this starts getting traction, they'll start listening. It's a numbers game. So to them, they're not going to address it because I might have like 500 views, right? They don't give a shit. I start making noise. They're going to say something. Watch. They're going to address it. Watch. I'm curious about this Scott Zillner, though. Been hearing his name floating around, guys. I might just have to start talking publicly about that guy and see who comes a biting on that one, because I heard some stories and I'm very curious. Speaking of rumors, I wonder if the rumors about Scott Zillner are true. And for those of you who don't know who Scott Zillner is, remember how I mentioned some convention runners? I'm just curious if that one, if anyone has any rumors about Scott Zillner, because I heard some things and I want to see where are those going. And rest in peace, Glizzy Goblin, or the rest in peace, Glizzy music. We'll do a whole stream just for the Glizzy music for you, Shay. I promise. Thanks for the $2. Appreciate you. I heard some shit about Scott too. Yeah, I've been putting the feelers out about this Christopher Kamen Lee stuff, right? And there's been some name drops, man. There's been some name drops. And I was curious if anyone knew anything about Scott Zillner. Scott be covering mad shit up. Please do tell. Do tell. Scott be covering mad shit up. Scott didn't give a fuck about letting Jacob Frank inside his convention. Oh yeah, that's right. The whole situation with Jason David Frank's estranged son, Jacob, who Sky Frank pretty much said her brother is a PDF file. And knowing that, yeah, that's a little kind of crazy. But what have we heard about Scott, aside from him covering up mad shit? I'm curious. He let Jacob in the con. I saw them talking together. He has a record. Oh, is that somebody I should be focusing on too? Because, like, I don't know why, again, these people have all these rumors going around and nobody wants to confirm some of these rumors. Because, like, I don't know, having somebody who runs the Diddy parties, you know, I think that's kind of a big deal. This is somebody who runs the event, and letting people who have been convicted for pedophilic stuff at your convention is a little crazy, if you ask me. He's the one that runs Paramorphicon, but he'll put your eyes on him because he's a piece of shit. He covered up Hector David Rivera getting drunk and fighting a fan. Oh, so he's one of those. So he's the cleanup crew, basically. Oh, so he not only hosts the Diddy parties, after the Diddy parties are over, he goes in there with the cum rags and sweeps up everything, right? Is that what I'm getting from this Scott Zillner guy? Yeah, I've heard things about him. Apparently, he's the one that should be feared, but I'm not afraid of no man. And if there is some sussery going on, I think I might be interested in looking into this. This should be great. This should be great. I know he's aware when these dudes be getting fucked up and covers it up. Oh, I believe it. Because, I mean, I know that Blake Foster liked to do a few bumps at conventions. So, of course, you know that they're getting fucked up. I'm curious if he's supplying the shit they're getting fucked up on. Oh, wouldn't that be something? He's the one that lets Christopher get away with a lot of shit that he does now. Oh, really? Well, we can't have that now, can we, guys? Since we're sitting here talking about exposing people, I mean, sounds like this Scott guy is a problem. I think he's a big problem. Yikes. Again, man's hosting the Diddy parties and cleaning up afterwards. It's kind of crazy. Like, he's the one that's bringing the baby oil in the room, y'all. That's kind of crazy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do we do? I'm not surprised when it comes to con owners. There are always some ones with the crazy reps, yeah? Bumps, you mean drugs, right? Yes, that is what bumps means, cocaine. It means cocaine. Lewis. Hector David got drunk at PMC, rode his skateboard in the con, fought a fan, and the next day got banned. I'd spit on Hector and toss him into the dirt. Don't mess with the elderly. I agree. And don't forget about the Tushy. What? The Tushy. Erlem was there when they got in the shouting match. He can confirm. Interesting. Scott Zillner. I almost said Zillner. Scott Zillner allowed Austin St. John to come to the last Power Ranger Morphicon. Despite his controversy with the Hitler clothing. Nick has come to his convention plastered and would start shit, and Scott would cut his time short and say he won't be back, and then a few years later, Blake is back. Yeah, Scott sounds like he sounds so cool. Wasn't Hector also drunk at the con trying to give advice to kids too? Yeah, I heard about that as well. So I guess that's probably why all these Power Ranger actors love Scott. Love going to Power Ranger Morphicon. Anything goes at Scott's house. Interesting. You know, it's really sad when you're the con runner of one of the biggest Power Ranger conventions, and because of that, all these Power Ranger actors kind of know that that's where the most money they're going to make is, because it's literally a convention that is for Power Ranger actors. And that's why guests are there to see the Power Ranger actors. So I don't know. I find it very interesting. Not at all shocking at this point. But I guess maybe we can look into Scott. We can look into Scott a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about Scott. We'll see if Scott will address the allegations against him and ask him why he keeps sweeping for these problematic Power Ranger actors, huh? I guess maybe we should do that, huh? Nah, like real talk though, I kind of already had Scott on my radar. I already had Scott on my radar. There are a lot of people who have told me a lot of things about Scott. But like I said, he has the cards. He holds the cards. So he is, as of right now, as far as, he thinks, untouchable. So I think that should be interesting, that a small content creator like myself should do some due diligence and do some research and make a whole ass video about Scott and his sussery. Scott is fully aware of Jacob's PDF file allegations as well. Yeah, and he probably doesn't care. He's probably like, "Oh, it's okay, dude. Like, those little kids, man. They're always lying on ya. This is why I don't listen to little girls. This is why I don't listen to little girls. I have ways of shutting them up." What? Did I say that? Did I say that? That's crazy. Oh, it's okay. I've heard his name before, but like before all this, not much really. But after hearing about the situation with Chris and the 16-year-old, I heard his name a lot more, which is kind of crazy when it's like this whole situation started with me finding out that there was an incident with Christopher Kamen Lee and a 16-year-old, and that led into this whole entire rabbit hole of, but wait, there's more. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Shay, you always gotta say allegations, otherwise they sue you. Otherwise they sue you. So it's allegations. It's allegations. Jacob pled guilty. Well, on YouTube it's allegations. On YouTube it's allegations. It's allegations on YouTube. No, I know he's a PDF file. I mean, his sister basically said the same thing too. So like, let's not forget the Sky Frank and Jacob Frank incest stories, where both of them pretty much said the same thing. Yeah, we fucked around when we were kids sexually, but it was my sister's fault. No, it was my brother's fault. No, they both fucked around with each other, bruh. Like, it's just kind of crazy, but that is what happened. They both admitted they had sex with each other. So, Jacob did not make Scott money. He was there as a guest, like brought his own pass as a guest. He was only at Hein Youngins' booth so he could go to the bathroom. So like, he was there as a guest? He paid for a ticket. Why was he even there? Like, why? Like, why are Jason's kids, at least from the first? I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Okay. Anyways, like the clout chasing over is just I don't understand. I don't understand. But it's not for me to understand, I guess. Not for me to understand, I guess. What did you walk into? You walked into us talking about a bunch of Power Ranger community people, actors, con runners, just being shitty, garbage human beings, and incest. That's what you walked in on. Incest. He picked up Sky Frank. Her ass was talking to me like we were old friends, and she told me Jacob was taking her to the airport and pointed him out to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Sky Frank or her brother are going to these Power Ranger conventions when I don't recall them ever being there before when Jason was here. Again, I understand everyone mourns and grieves in their own way, but like for me, it really was the whole trying to sell their dad's autographs when it wasn't. Like when Jacob Frank made a video saying, "My dad signed these for me so I can sell them." Bitch, why are you only now selling them now that he's dead? And here's the thing. I didn't even know this fucking dude had all these kids with the previous woman. Cause he never talked about y'all. I didn't even find out about Sky Frank until my days in the community when I started like making connections with people who were like in the know. And they mentioned Sky and stuff and about the relationship there. And I was just like, oh, I didn't even know he had a kid with a previous relationship. I thought Jenna was it. Cause like I think Jenna has siblings, right? So I didn't even know about his kids. I didn't even know about Sky, let alone Jacob or whatever. So I'm sitting there like, well, that's interesting. And then of course, when you see Sky at the time, Sky did not have a good relationship with her dad. Like, you know, she did not have a good relationship with her dad. She was talking shit about her dad. And so I'm sitting there like, ain't no way Jason David Frank gave these kids that he literally didn't have very much a relationship with a bunch of signed autographs for them to sell to fans. Because, like, notice I don't see Jenna doing that. I don't see Jenna really out there selling her daddy's autographs to people like that. It just seemed kind of weird. It just seemed kind of really weird. Very fucking weird. And very dishonest, to be honest with you. So for me, for those kids, that's where I kind of was like, I went from understanding, being empathetic to the fact that, you know, they did lose their parent to like, yeah, what we're not going to do is we're not going to sit here and act like you're selling fans legitimate autographs from your dead dad and saying that your dad gave that shit to you before he died so you could sell it and make a living off of, especially with Jacob Frank, you know, being estranged for the reasons he was estranged because, you know, he was convicted of, you know, R-wording a person under the age of, well, how old was the girl? I know she was young, but she definitely was a minor. So I'm pretty damn sure Jason David Frank did not give Jacob Frank no autographs for him to sell in the off chance he ends up dead. You know, I'm sorry. Like, that ain't true. That's definitely not true. That's some bullshit. And anyone who was dumb enough to buy that shit, like, God damn, y'all. Sometimes I'm sitting there like, y'all got problems. Oh, the kid was under 15? Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. Ain't no way Jason David Frank wanted anything to do with that kid. No way. 99% of JDF autographs online are fake, thanks to Jacob Frank flooding the market with fake autographs. Yeah, no, of course. Because, and I'm sorry, but like anyone who was dumb enough to buy that shit, like, bro, for real? For real. Like, guys, I ask y'all as fans of Jason David Frank, notice how that man never really talked about Jacob or Sky. Who did you always see with Jason David Frank? Jenna. Who did he always talk about when he talked about his kids for the most part? Jenna. Now we find out this man had kids with another woman and he never really talked about them. Then you tune in to see who Sky Frank is. And you see she does rap music. She got tattoos. She do OnlyFans. And you sit there like, okay, maybe I see now why Jason don't talk about these kids. They kind of crazy. They kind of crazy, kind of wild, right? So, you know, I'm sitting here like, if y'all really thought that you were buying authentic shit from fucking kids that you didn't even know was this man's kids until after he died, Y'all deserve to got scammed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It sounds mean. But come on now. Sometimes I gotta look at people and say, yo, sometimes you gotta use your brain. You gotta use your brain. You gotta use your brain. Like, I wish people would have just talked to me. I would have told y'all straight up not to do it. Not to do it. Jason didn't hate his kids. Jason definitely did not hate his kids, but there was only so much he can do with some of his kids. Like, there's only so much he could have done for some of his kids, man. Jacob Frake thought he could make a quick buck faking Jason David Frake autographs, and he killed the market on Jason David Frake autographs. They are basically worthless because now you can't tell a JDF autograph from a Jacob. That's kind of crazy. Jason has gullible fans, though, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you know. And that's what these actors, back to all the actors, that's what a lot of these actors definitely bank on. They bank on that gullibility. They bank on the fact that y'all will suck the farts out of their butts, okay? They love that. They love that. You know? Because it means y'all are easily manipulated and giving them money with no questions asked. Like, I'm sorry. I'm really not out here trying to ruin people's childhoods. You know, because I'll have these conversations with TTS, right? About actors from, like, shows that we know growing up that, like, oh, did you hear that actor got, like, caught with some kiddie pornography and stuff like that? And, like, his reaction is like, man, why you gotta ruin my childhood? And I'm just like, well, why did the actor have to ruin other people's childhood by friggin', like, doing the shit they did? But, like, it sucks because, like, I'm not trying to ruin anyone's childhood, but I'm not the one ruining it. These actors are. Because, like, on one hand, yes, they are people. They are human beings. They should be treated as such. But that is a problem with idolizing actors in entertainment. You idolize them. Y'all want to be them. Y'all want to fuck them. You want to be them. All this shit. Like, bro, that's great and all. But that doesn't mean that they're good people. They were great on TV. They played a fucking character that was morally good. That doesn't mean they're morally good. You know? During Power Rangers, I guarantee you, if they release, like, takes from Power Rangers, you'd probably hear some of the friggin' actors on set cussing when they fuck up a line. It's morphin' time. Green Ranger fuck! Can we run it back? I gotta do the line again. What's wrong? I fucked up the line. Can we do it again? I guarantee you guys would be so shocked at how they talk on set when they're shooting these kids shows, bro. These kids show actors, man, they're adults. Remember that. They are adults. They have sex. They shit. They piss. They are adults still. At the end of the day, they are grown adults, and they're going to be adults. Just because they're on kids shows doesn't mean that they are kid-friendly, okay? I'm telling you, man. The way Chris talks, okay? The way Chris talks, he was like that when he was younger too. I guarantee it. They have power orgies. You and those power orgies. Jason David Frank cursed like a sailor, according to Francis. Oh yeah. I'm sure he did. And the crazy part is, like Francis said, though, he didn't do it on camera. He didn't do it in a professional setting. So that's the thing. He did not do it in a professional setting. But that's just who they are. They're people. So when which Rangers banged? There's a whole list of Power Ranger actors that got together. I don't know the whole list of roster, but I know somebody has one on YouTube. I guarantee it. I don't know. I just think that it's kind of crazy because the idolizing of these actors. It's like I don't get it though. Cause like I would understand it if it's an actor who's still acting. Like, I'm so sorry. It sounds mean, but like, what the hell is Christopher Kamen Lee or a lot of these? What have they done since Power Rangers? I'm sorry. I know it sounds so mean. And I'm not saying we can't appreciate the work they did, but like, it's not like they're still in the entertainment business. It's not like they're still like doing stuff. And even so, like, it's just it blows my mind at the glazing that fans do for these people in the industry. Like, what like they're not doing shit now. I'm not even kidding. That man's number and the contact name in my phone is washed up actor, because that is literally what he is. Like, you are washed up, sir. You ain't doing nothing really at all. Like, you're doing YouTube. You're doing YouTube short films. Like, you're not doing anything mainstream. Like, no, like you're a part of a small, like, the Power Ranger community is all you have. Like, anybody who's a normie who wasn't huge in the Power Rangers, but at least know who it is. Like, you say Jason David Frank, they'll be like, was that the Green Ranger guy? Was that who it is? The guy with the long hair? They at least can tell you, like, they might not know shit about Power Rangers, but if you say Jason David Frank on Power Rangers, they're like, wasn't he the Green Ranger? Like, most normies will at least know that. You talk about Christopher Kimmelina, any normal person, they don't have no idea who he is. They have no idea who he is. I stopped watching after Power Rangers Turbo. I stopped watching after Mighty Morphin. They don't know who he is. Ray and Henry run the Power Ranger community. Yeah, I know. No, we just exposed it. Imagine being sold in ass for a plastic morpher. Wait, what? What? Chris makes cucks of his fans for cheap merchandise. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I guess they literally casted teenagers with attitude. No, they casted adults. They casted adults. I remember back in the day, Chris had a video with Sean CW and kept cursing, and Sean joking told him to watch his language. Yeah, nah, Chris got a fucking foul mouth. He does. JDF hung around members of the Mongol bikers, according to Tony. Okay. What up, Casey Batman? How are you? Do you have his number in your phone? Try to call him. Yeah, okay. Nah, he definitely blocked my number. He blocked my number a long time ago. I know for a fact he blocked my number. There's no even what's the point of calling him saying, hi, Chris, haven't talked to you in a long time, been talking about how like you kind of fucked over me and a lot of people from back in the day and how you're kind of an asshole. Oh, by the way, there's a rumor going around that you did something inappropriate to a 16-year-old at a fucking Ranger stop. Is that true? Is that true? Or are you gonna lie to me again like you lied to me about slapping your ex-girlfriend? Yeah, that conversation will go off smoothly. Is Chris aware you're streaming? No, I'm pretty sure he is aware. I know he's heard. He ain't gonna answer it because he's gonna try to sweep it under the rug. I know he learned from the last time I called him out and made a Facebook page that tried to do anonymously. I know that they did try to shut that down by like saying, yeah, there's an account floating around, guys. We know who ran it. These are disgruntled people and a bitter ex. She's Shayla. They basically name dropped Shayla and said, yeah, it's a bitter ex and all that shit. So yes, please like the stream. Appreciate you. Thank you. We should crash one of his empty Twitch streams. Nah. I'm not encouraging anyone to go over there and say nothing. Like, y'all do it at your discretion, but I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. Because all he's gonna do, honestly, I'd be curious to see how he would respond though. Because he might just ignore it. He might just ignore it. And if he ignores it, I'll just laugh. Like, bro, I just laugh. Like, you ain't got nothing to say? You just gonna ignore me? You should know better than to ignore me, Chris. I just get louder. Like, you know better. You know better. At least back then, I was a little bit more tamer than I am now. Now I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm a lot worse now, especially now that I have my own platform that I grew without you, Chris. I just want to make that clear. I'm doing better without you. I didn't need you to get a community on my own, bro. I didn't need your community to speak out and say what I need to say. So, like, Juice Box Poppy for $4.99. This is getting to Christopher Kamen Lee. We know you're here in here like this stream. Nah, he's not here. He's not here. He's probably like, what time is it? What time is it in California right now? He's probably still sleeping. Probably still sleeping. No, I don't know, to be honest with you, because like he got a whole new girlfriend now, whole new victim. I feel bad for these women, man. I feel bad for all the women that got in a relationship with him, because like, yikes. Yikes. Fucking yikes. Hangover sleepy. Oh, it's 2:21 p.m. their time. Yeah, he's probably still sleeping off a hangover, sleeping it off. I don't know. Yeah, he says, yeah. I'm just saying, man. It's a damn shame. He had so much potential. And he decided to be a prick. Imagine that. Not surprised, but at the same time, goddamn. So much potential, Christopher Kamen Lee. You could have been a good person. You could have been good to your fans. You could have been good to your friends. But instead, you chose to be a selfish prick that only cares about money and pussy. That's it. And alcohol. Christopher Kamen Lee, you could have been a star again. You could have done good. But you know what? Thinking on it, actually, now that I think about it, you know how people always ask him about the whole kissing his sister shit, that movie, Kickbox Academy, right? Where he played the romantic lead. He played the main character, and his sister was his romantic interest. Yes, Kyler Lee is Christopher Kamen Lee's sister, and she was his romantic interest in Kickbox Academy, where they shared a few scenes where they did kiss with some tongue, incest, guys. And when you think about it, right? They were young. I don't know how old Kyler was when that happened, but I know she's younger than Chris. Now, as a parent, right, you gotta be kind of fucked up to green light your kids, not only like being 15. Kyler was 15 at the time. Not only your 15-year-old daughter being in this movie and having kissing scenes or whatever, like that's fine, whatever, you know, just innocent kissing. But the brother, like blood, biological, like you have to be a really fucked up parent to let your kids be in a movie where they have to physically make out and think that that's not going to have some kind of mental fucking shit wrong with you. Now, it makes me say, again, and I'm not going to say, I don't know for a fact, but it's just food for thought, right? It is possible that Chris is a fucking asshole and a fucking shitty person because of his upbringing, right? Because if you think about it, what parent let their kids do that shit? And I honestly, I never really asked if that fucked up his head, right? Because people would ask him and he'd answer and he'd say, well, you know what? It was a job. It was a job. You know, we just did a job. That's it. And kind of left it at that, because anytime, you know, it was brought up, he did not really want to talk about it. So I'm starting to think, like, maybe the real issue is like he got some trauma, bro. like maybe he got some trauma, and that's why he's an asshole. Maybe that's what it is, guys. Maybe I figured out the puzzle is that he's an asshole because of trauma. Because ain't no way, thinking on it now, that's normal to have your kids be in a movie where they're making out and that's not going to cause any mental issues with your kids. I don't know. Hollywood is very incestuous. See what I did there? I mean, yeah, Hollywood is kind of crazy. No wonder she got married young to get away from them. Yeah, I think that's kind of why Kyler Lee don't really speak on the family. Because again, another instance like Jason David Frank didn't talk about his previous kids. Kyler Lee don't talk about her brother. Kyler Lee don't talk about her mama. There is a reason for that. Just saying, there is a reason for that. For sure, there's a reason for that. But yeah, kind of like one of those things where I wish fans would start opening their eyes a little bit and start seeing that shit's looking a little weird. If it smells funny, it is funny. I'm just saying. If it smells funny, it is funny. I forgot about his sister. Well, a lot of people don't even know that they're related. Like I said, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Maybe that's why Chris is an alcoholic, because whatever he had to go through in Hollywood, now he's drowning it. But it's like it's not getting him the help he needs, clearly. Especially if this situation with the 16-year-old is to be true, because like yeah. I refuse to call the Rangers by their names. That's Andros. Okay, Popcorn Fart. I got some beef with you. Now that you're in the chat, hold on. Let me address Popcorn Fart real quick. Popcorn Fart, listen, me and you, when we first met, when I was talking about Andy Signore and stuff, and you were defending Andy Signore, but now me and you had a great conversation. Now we kind of somewhat understand a little bit. I did the right thing. You acknowledge I did the right thing and stuff. I still call Andy a piece of shit. That's never gonna change. But I gotta call you out on something. I got to call you out on something. Because recently, Crazy Shorty, you know what I'm talking about. Crazy chick still accusing me of working with Andy and all that fun shit. Bitch is crazy. My bad. I didn't mean to fucking platform a crazy bitch. Cool. Anyways, but you saying some shit that is just factually untrue. Because Andy is saying some shit that's factually untrue. Why are you telling people that somebody hacked into Andy Signore's device and took that video off his phone? I need to understand why you said that. Because I saw your comment, goddammit, and I need to call you on that. How are you and Andy Signore going to say that video that's floating around, right? That video is hacked? Yes, you did. Yes, you sure did. I gotta find it. I talked about it a few days ago, but you've been busy with real life, which is good. I hope you're busy with real life. I hope you're enjoying your life. But Andy Signore said in a post when somebody brought up the shit again, okay? He said that, even the haters said this chick's crazy, that, you're sharing something that was stolen from my device. And you went ahead and said, yes, that video was stolen from the device. You know damn well that video wasn't stolen from the device. How is a video stolen from the device when he is saying her name in the damn video? Popcorn Fart, you know that, right? Like in that video, he is mouthing off Britney in the video. She didn't steal that video. He sent that shit to her, god damn it. I saw that and I said, ain't no way Popcorn Farts is gonna spread a lie about some. Come on now, like again. Popcorn Fart, we cool, but you know damn well that video was not stolen from his device. No one stole that video from Andy Signore's device. He sent that video to a woman who he said in the video. Don't say that shit was stolen from his stuff. I don't know why he even said that. I don't know why he said that. It's like I'm sitting here like, what? AI I swear to God, popcorn fart. I swear to God, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm just saying, I haven't seen you in a while, and I had I made a new Twitter account stuff. I was gonna reach out to you, but now that you're here, I'm gonna put you on blast because you saying that video was stolen. You said, "Oh, that video was stolen by that crazy chick, bruh. The crazy chick whose name he says in that video. That's crazy to me. AI be doing crazy shit. I don't want to hear that popcorn fart. I know your ass did not. I know you guys didn't think I wasn't gonna see that, and that was just gonna slip under the rug, where I wasn't gonna be like, bruh, really? I know you guys did not try to do me dirty like that, okay? I'm just saying. I owned my shit. Y'all got to stop lying on about Andy. Don't be lying for Andy popcorn farts, because I'll be on that ass again. You could try to discredit me and say all the shit you want about how I botched the fucking story with fucking 2 of those stupid ass women that lied, right? Cool. But like, that video was not a lie. You know that video was not a lie, and it was not illegally obtained. All right? I'm just saying. Sorry, y'all. I had to call that out because, like, just had to call it out. If I said hacked, my only defense is I be winging it. I'm at 80% correct. There's no way you can say with certainty, popcorn fart, that video of Andy Signor jerking off was stolen from his device when he literally is saying the woman's name that he sent the video to. You can't tell me that, popcorn farts. Because now the implication is I stole that video. I did not steal that video. It was given to me. Just saying. And I say that on record. It was given to me. Okay? It was a private video of him saying her name. It was for private use. Well, you better go to her. You better go to her and talk to her about that. Because she's the one who gave it to me. Which, by the way, I will say this, popcorn farts, you can go report back to Andy and tell him this. She not only gave it to me, she was told not to give it to anyone else because, like, that was just going to be even worse. She did give it to other people, by the way. So, and that's why it was spreading. The picture that's spreading around that's a little bit more lower, that wasn't my doing. Because I made sure to edit that so no one would see below the waist at all. So she did give the video to somebody else who did show a little bit more. And that was not my doing. So just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, I can't with you. I can't with you, bro. I can't. Tony, stop saying that stupid shit. Because Andy will run with that 100%. But I had to call popcorn farts because I hadn't seen you in a while, and I've been waiting to see you in my chat so I could be like, I know you weren't on Twitter saying that video was hacked, that somebody stole that video from Andy Signor's device. That is not what happened, sir. I know you're smarter than that, and I know you knew that I was not going to let that slide when I saw that. I don't care if y'all want to come at me and say, this YouTuber already fucking proved she already admitted that she was wrong and whatever. Bruh, okay. But I ain't wrong about that. That video was sent with the intention of getting someone tingly down there, okay? Just saying. Right. Intentionally spreading nudes of that guy. No, that's the crazy part. I definitely did not intentionally do that. I made sure that I did not do that. But the other person who did own that video did send it to other people, despite being told that it wasn't a good idea to do that because people were asking her to release it, unedited, by the way. And again, she was advised not to do that, but did not listen because the bitch is crazy. And yeah, unfortunately, other people did get a hold of that video unedited. And I'm pretty sure that they were smart enough not to release it unedited, but I'm just letting you know that is what happened. And if that does come out unedited, well, I'm just sitting here saying that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I don't even have the original copy anymore. I don't even have the copy that I was given. That shit was deleted the moment that that whole thing went public. So I'm just putting it out there. I honestly don't remember saying it was hack, but I really do settle for getting 80% of the details right. So I'll own it. My bad. I had to call you out, Popcorn Fart. It's okay. I just had to correct you because I'm like, Popcorn Fart, you know better. You know better than that. You know better than that. But again, I mean, that chick is Looney Tunes anyways. And my bad. My bad. See, guys, I don't always get it right. The thing that I love about myself is like, if I fuck up, I'll just tell you straight up I fucked up. Like, that's the thing. I take accountability for shit I've done that was a mistake. I'll always do that. But, I also blame Popcorn Fart. So, there you go. Crazy Brittany. Downloaded, yes. Stole, hell no. Yeah, no, there was no stealing of Andy Signore's fat video, trust me. No stealing. But anyways, I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes about this. Like I said, I guess the best way to end on this note is I care a lot about a lot of the fans. I do. I just hope that people stop being afraid. And, you know, again, it sucks that, you know, doing the right thing has consequences. It does suck. That's just one thing I will say. It sucks. I just want some accountability to be held. I want some justice for some people who deserve it. I want some credit to be given to those who've earned it. And I want Power Ranger actors, convention runners, do better. Do better. Like, it's really that simple. Do better. Y'all are doing the most, like, for no reason. Like, y'all being sus for no reason. Y'all are just using fans for no reason other than your selfish pricks. Selfish, disgusting pricks. And with that said, I'm going to go. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Much love to everybody. Stay safe out there. I'm just going to hit the end button because I don't want to do an outro. So goodbye, everybody.